are going to have a look at another essay inside the extended writing, which is writing a report. A report is actually a formal account of an event or situation. We normally write a report to the teacher advisor or to the principal. Alright, so now let us have a look at writing report. What is a report? So, report is a clear, sharp, concise document. It is written for a specific purpose and audience. It is also a description of a sequence of events or a situation. Report is present data or facts on occasions or events. Alright, there are several guidelines that I can give to you in writing a report. So the first one is you need to read the question carefully to understand what type of report to write. And then secondly, write your report in paragraph. Third, use all the suggested points, headings or content provided. Fourth, the language and experience used must be formal. So this is a formal writing. And fifth, lastly, use the correct tense. Usually it will be a past tense because this is a report. We are reporting what had happened before. Now, there are also things that you can do and things that you cannot do during writing a report. So let's have a look at do's first, things that you can do. So the first one, you need to use formal but simple language or expressions. Second, use the correct punctuation. Third, use transition words. Fourth, end your report with a clear conclusion. And lastly, use a polite tone. Alright, now for the don'ts, things that you should not do in writing a report. The first one, write the report in any manner you wish, so don't do this. Second, write the whole report in one section or paragraph. Okay, writing a report should have paragraphs. Number 3, use informal language and expression. So you need to remember, report is a formal writing. Number 4, leave out important information. And the last one, end your report without a clear conclusion or with no conclusion at all. Okay, now let us try and do a report writing. So the question here is, your teacher has asked you to write a report about your classroom and suggest ways in which you could make it more pleasant. Write the report using your ideas. In writing a report, you need to remember to write your answer in 200 to 250 words in an appropriate style on this question paper. So, before we start writing, let us analyze the question. The first one is, we are looking at the requirement of the task. It is word limit 200 to 250 words. And the second one, identify your role. So your role here is the student or the classroom monitor. And then the third one, identify the style. So it is a report writing. The fourth one is, you need to identify the task. So the task is ways to make your classroom pleasant. So descriptions here focus on 3 features that you want for your class, suggestions or ideas. So A, the seating arrangements. The desk can be arranged in such a way so that students can sit in groups or in a large circle. B, more colors or art wall. The walls can be painted different pastel or light colors to create warm atmosphere. Posters or photographs can be used to create an art wall. And then C, green corner. Plants can be brought to be put in a corner of the classroom. Students can take turns to be responsible for them. For number 5, identify your audience. So the audience is your teacher, the form teacher. Number 6, tense to use. So here we use past tense. And lastly, number 7, writing style. So this is a formal writing. Alright, so now before we are going to write the report, let us do some practice. Okay, based on the information given in the questions that we have read just now, complete the following tables. Okay, this will help you to govern a good essay, a complete essay. So for the first one, write this info at the top. So at the top of your report, you should have to, from, and subject. So to here we put the name of Miss Aina, from Ame, and then the subject here we put ways to make the classroom more pleasant. Moving on to the introductions, state what the report is about. So you need to think about what is the report going to tell. So the purpose of the report is to suggest some ways to make the classroom more pleasant. So we continue by saying, I think the classroom needed some upgrade so that it will look better. As for the second paragraph, we are going to have a look at the suggestions on ways to make your classroom pleasant. Okay, this is the second paragraph, the paragraph where you put in the first idea. So the first idea is the seating arrangements. Point, the desk can be arranged in such a way so that the student can sit in groups or in a large circle. So now let us start doing the first paragraph. So we can start with, I would like to suggest a few of my ideas as to make our classroom pleasant. Firstly, you need to state the first idea here, so the seating arrangement. So we start with, firstly, we can change the seating arrangements. And then after that, you need to give details on the first idea. You need to elaborate. So use the point given. I would like to suggest that the desk can be arranged in such a way so that the students can sit in groups or in a large circle. And then here, after that, you need to give example of how is the arrangement that you want it to be. So we can suggest we could have 3 to 4 desks in a group. They will be facing each other. So here is the justification why you want to arrange the seating as such. So in this arrangement, group activities can be monitored and carried out easily. Next is the second way of arranging the tables. So in a large circle, so how you want it to be. So we can say another arrangement is a U shape facing the whiteboard. In beneficially, here we give reason why you want it to be arranged in a U shape. So we can write beneficially in this position, the students can really focus on the teacher's teaching. Okay, that is all for second paragraph. Next is the third paragraph, which is the second idea. So the idea is more colors or art wall. So points, the walls can be painted different pastel or light colors to create warm atmosphere. Posters or photographs can be used to create an art wall. So now let's have a look at the essay building. Secondly, our classroom will look, so you need to choose a word or a phrase that can explain about room or color. So here is referring to the more color or art wall, and then so you can write, secondly, our classroom will look bright or cheerful. Okay, you can choose bright or cheerful. If now you need to state your second idea. So the second idea here is more color or art wall, and then we can write if we have more colors or an art wall. And then after that, you need to give details of your second idea. So personally, we use personally because this is our personal opinion. So I think the walls can be painted with different pastels, or even we could choose light colors to create warm atmosphere. Give some reason why we say it has a warm atmosphere. So it will create a positive vibe. And then after that, other than that, we could use directly taken from the point posters or photograph to create an art wall for the class. Give reason also for this elaboration, what will happen. So we can write, this can give good and attractive view to the classroom. Alright, next is the fourth paragraph, which is the third idea, green corner. So plants can be brought to put in a corner of the classroom. Students can take turns to be responsible for them. So the real writing. Thirdly, I think by creating a green corner, so we put in the idea here, would also make our classroom attractive. So plants directly taken from the site, the elaboration just now, so we directly put here, plants can be brought to be put in a corner of the classroom. So we write a little explanation here. We could have the easy maintaining plants. And then, moreover, students can take turns to be responsible for them. And then we give some elaboration on taking turns and also responsible. So this will be a good character building for the class members. The last one is the concluding paragraph. You need to summarize your suggestions or overall impressions and then state your hope. Alright, so from my point of views, I believe these suggestions should give some explanation. So as simple as, I believe these suggestions are the best. It will give a drastic changes to our classroom. Our class will look very interesting. And then after that is the hope. State your hope. So I hope that you will take the suggestions into consideration and will be applied to our classroom. At the end of it, right, thank you. Another essay writing inside extended writing is narrative writing. So narrative writing is where you need to tell story. You need to write a story about a situation given. For example, maybe your experience from your childhood or going to an occasion. So here you need to write something based on your experience, or maybe you need to create your own imaginations in this narrative writing. So now there are many ways on you to write narrative writing. Without wasting any time, let's have a look at narrative writing. In this video, I am going to explain and give some suggestion on how to write a narrative. So, the first one is create a good plot or storyline for the story. Second is adopt a first person point of view or a third person point of view, whether he or she or they. And for the third one, create rounded main characters and minor characters, meaning it's either the people inside it or animals. Fourth, provide a setting where the narrative takes place. Fifth, write a good theme, the author's message. So here you need to think of what you want to say to the people, what message you want to convey. Number 6, create drama, tension or climax in the story. For number 7, write a good introduction that hooks the reader, meaning you need to attract people's attention to read the story. Number 8, provide moral values or lesson learned for the reader. Number 9, write a good conclusion or narrative ending. Number 10, write within the word stipulated. In writing a narrative, language and tone need to be think carefully. You need to give more attention to language and tone that you are going to use so that it will attract the reader's attention. So now let's have a look at what are the language and tones that you need to consider. So for the first one, use the past tense in most part. You need to remember you are writing a narrative, a story that you had watched or had happened in the past. Number 2, use direct speech or dialogue. Number 3, use descriptive and vivid vocabulary with sensory details. This will give another experience to the readers. They will want to read more and more of your writing. Number 4, use a variety of sentence length and types. Number 5, use logical and sentence connectors effectively. Number 6, has good purposeful paragraphs. Number 7, use helpful punctuation that adds meaning. Number 8, use accurate spelling throughout the narratives. Number 9, use words or diction to create the mood in the story. For example, joyful, serious, humorous, sad, threatening, pessimistic, and optimistic. Number 10, engage the reader's interest. And lastly, number 11, use standard English. This is an example of a narrative writing, so you can have a look at the example that I have provided for you here. There are several starting strategies that you can use when you want to start your narrative. So here are 5 suggestions that you can think of when you want to start your narrative. So the first one is begin with action or dialogue. Second, ask a question. Third, describe the setting. Fourth, begin with background information. Fifth, have the main character introduce himself or herself. get a question about narrative, you need to plan the story. So how are you going to plan the story? So this is an example of how you can prepare your story. So now, you need to have the title of the story. And then think, what is it about? When did it happen? Where did it happen? Why did it happen? And who are the characters? These 5 will eventually help you to create a good narrative, a good storyline. Now, after all that, let us do some practice. So, write your answer in an appropriate style on this question. Your teacher has asked you to write a story for your school magazine. The story must have the title, A Good Deed. Your story should include a description of the incident, what happened in the end. So, you need to write a narrative writing about a good deed. You need to create a story about a good deed. As usual, before we start writing, let us analyze the question. The requirement of the task is word limit from 200 to 250 words. You need to identify the audience. So here is the school magazine reader. And then identify the style. It is a story writing, a narrative writing. After that, identify the task. Write a story using the title given. Use all the notes given in the prompts. Elaborate with details. Give a suitable ending. And then the last one, tense to use. Past tense. You may use the past tense when writing the story, but the dialogue must be in the present tense. Bear in mind that this is a narrative writing. So here are some brainstormings about the question just now. So the first one, you need to state the title. So the title is given to you already. So A Good Deed. And then let's move on to introduction, giving the background of the story. So we need to think about the who, where, what and why here. So who, so we create characters for the story, Nicole and Chloe, and then an elderly couple. Where? In the neighborhood. What happened or what are they doing? So walking to the shop. Why? To buy lunch. This is for the introduction. Okay, you need to remember this is only for the introduction, not for the whole story. What happened during the introduction only. And then for the second paragraph, answer the first prompt by describing the incident. Okay, you need to describe what happened. So this is where in a story you have a rising action, a climax, a falling action and resolution. So for paragraph 2, this is where you have your rising action and also climax. So the rising action here, heard a loud of scream. Okay, and then for the climax, saw old man on the ground, rushed to help. As for the third paragraph, you need to answer the second prompt by giving an ending to the story. So here is the following action: help the couple to the pharmacy. And then your resolution: old lady thanked them with an apple each. And then after that, you have your concluding paragraph by giving statements to summarize what the characters learned or how they felt, happy or proud. Okay, conclusion, you need to link the moral value to the title, A Good Deed. This is an example of how we write the narrative based on the question just now. So the title of the essay is A Good Deed. Okay, So what I'm giving now to you is based on the analysis that we have done just now. So if you can see in the essay, there are several sentences having different colors that I've used inside. This is referring to the prompt asked by the question. I am providing you with the expressions of speech and also examples for each expressions. So you can watch and have a look at the examples that I have prepared and maybe try to use it inside your narrative writing after this.